That is the 2024 Acura ZDX. It's all electric, it shares some of its parts with the Cadillac, and it has a name deep from Acura's past. There's obviously a lot to unpack here, so let's get started. Remember the first Acura ZDX? It was kind of a giant weirdo. Though some people were in love with its ugly duckling charm, the ZDX never caught on, and it survived from just 2010 to 2013. Rest in peace. Obviously, the 2024 ZDX shares nothing in common with that car, but bringing the name back to life is kind of fun. This is a two-row, mid-size, all-electric crossover and will come in two flavors, A-Spec and Type S. The former can drive an Acura estimated 325 miles on a single charge, and the latter has 500 horsepower. Some decent stats right off the bat, and we're just getting started. Acura says the ZDX will start in the $60,000 range and customer deliveries will start at the beginning of next year. By the way, we were given an exclusive first look of the ZDX before it made its official debut, so please excuse all the things happening in the background. Now this might not matter to everybody, but I still think it's worth pointing out. The ZDX here shares a lot in common with the Cadillac Lyriq, like a lot. This car rides on the General Motors Ultium platform, so that means it has the same battery pack, the same powertrain configurations, same horsepower numbers. Even the dimensions of the ZDX are almost spot on with the Caddy. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but if you're an Acura loyalist and you were hoping for a ground-up EV done completely in-house, you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer for that. That'll come in 2025 at the earliest. Being based on the Lyriq has some benefits in the powertrain department. The ZDX A-Spec comes standard with a single motor on the rear axle, making an estimated 340 horsepower. Then there's the Type S. That's this one right here. It's definitely the enthusiast choice with an estimated 500 horsepower. The Type S also gets an adaptive air suspension, performance-tuned dampers, these big 15.6 front Brembo brakes, and an optional summer tire. Now every ZDX is going to use a pretty hefty 102 kilowatt hour battery pack. And Acura tells us that when it's hooked up to an appropriate DC fast charger, the ZDX can charge up to 190 kilowatts. Let's talk about range just a little bit longer. I already mentioned that the A-Spec ZDX has an estimated 325 miles of range, but the Type S should be good for an estimated 288 miles. Those figures are good. That's on the higher end of what we've come to expect from this segment. The Audi Q8 e-tron, the Genesis GV70 electrified, and the Mercedes EQE SUV are all slightly lower than that. Now, of course, we're gonna make sure Acura is good for those numbers when we put the ZDX through our official Edmunds real-world range test. Okay, now that the sun is going down and we can actually see this, look at this cool little lighting detail surrounding the grille. I'm pretty sure they're gonna keep that for all of their future EVs, but don't quote me on that. I love what they've done with the headlights. They have the cool, they call it the chicane DRL signature. It looks really neat in this application. The face of the ZDX is really imposing, and it's super wide as well, just the way the car sits. The side profile of the car, a few things jump out at me. First are these wheels. 22 inches, the biggest on any Acura ever. They look pretty good, and I like that you can see the Brembo brakes peeking through. The Type S comes with this two-tone application. You can only get the black roof if you opt for the Type S. If you go for the A-Spec version, it's all going to be monotone. For me, the black kind of draws a lot of attention to this chrome detailing that doesn't quite make it all the way down the D-pillar. Do you think it looks awesome, or do you think it looks super weird? Let me know. And then finally, the back of the ZDX. You obviously know that this is an Acura crossover, no doubt about it. To my eyes, it looks like a more futuristic interpretation of the RDX and MDX, and you get this cool little E-badge. I think they really want you to know that it's electric. Okay, this interior is different for a brand new Acura. I have to say, sitting here in the driver's seat, the connection to GM is evident. And at the risk of upsetting some people, if you Google Chevy Blazer EV interior, you will see some similarities. But I'm not gonna let that spoil this party, because although this 11.3-inch touchscreen and 11-inch driver display may well be from the GM parts bin, but we have no qualms with that. And Acura installed its own software to give it its own unique touch. And I gotta say, this car does come standard with wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, which are two things that GM is moving away from. So points to Acura in that regard. Another benefit of this partnership is the new Acura Watch 360 Plus safety suite. Ooh, isn't that fun to say? And with that, you get a new system called hands-free cruise. If you can read between the lines, that is a version of GM's Super Cruise, which we think is one of, if not the best hands-free driving system on the road. The list of cool tech continues with Google built-in services and an 18-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system, both of which are first for Acura. As for the front seats, we'll need to spend some more time in them, but they're heated, ventilated, and generally pretty comfortable. All right, here in the back seat of the ZDX, we're going to do my famous 5'8" short man height test, and I would put this in the good but not great category. If you are a starting player on a sports team, you might not want to roll around in the back seat of one of these, but everything else I'm liking. We have independent climate control back here, love that. Heated seats on either side, and generally the legroom looks okay right now. Obviously, because it's an EV, you get a nice flat floor. And we are pretty much the first people to sit in this car that don't work for Acura, but I have to say, looking at these very white seats, this could be a daring decision. If you have kids, good luck with these. You may have caught this earlier if you were listening, but I said that the ZDX is supposed to start somewhere in the $60,000 range. And that would mean that it starts more than the Cadillac Lyriq, but in line with a lot of its closest competitors. In fairness, we have a lot more to learn about the ZDX, and we're really eager to see if those range estimates live up to the truth in the real world. What do you think of the all-electric Acura ZDX? Good, bad, or indifferent? Let us know. And as always, thanks for watching. Oh wait, one more thing. If you're a fan of what you just watched, be sure to like and subscribe.